Welcome! Today we are going to talk about the operation of our DALI2-CV-M2 dimmer. The dimmer can be installed inside the 503 wall box. The control inputs are DALI2, normally open button, potentiometer, 0-10 volts analog signal, 112 volts active and passive, phase cut modulation, switch, presence sensor. The maximum output current is 12 amperes. The dimmer can operate at 12, 24 or 48 volts DC and is suitable for controlling PWM dimmable LED strip and LED loads. The dimmer is equipped with a dip switch mounted on the rear of the box that allows the operating mode to be changed. Turn the dimmer and make sure the dip switches are on the right side of the dimmer. Before any wiring is done, the desired mode must be set. Push mode, mains voltage switch. To enable push mode, set the dip switch as in the table. Connect the LED module to the out L plus and L minus terminals. Connect the output of the power supply to the DC in plus and minus terminals. Connect the power supply to the phase and the neutral of the electrical system. Connect the system neutral to input DAP1. Connect the system phase interrupt by a normally open push button to the terminal DAP2. Quickly press the button to switch the load on or off. Switch on the load and hold the button to adjust the brightness. The dimmer is equipped with a night function. With the light off and by holding down the button, the load will always switch on at the lowest level, avoiding disturbing people in the room. Another useful function is the instant reaching of the maximum brightness. A quick double click is all it takes for the dimmer output to go to maximum. Push mode. Push button with voltage from the power supply. Starting from the basic wiring diagram where the dimmer is connected to the power supply and the load, connect the negative pole of the power supply to the terminal DAP1. Connect the positive pole of the power supply interrupted by a normally open push button to the terminal DAP2. The functionality is identical to the wiring diagram of the mains voltage switch. Now let's take a look at the parameter configuration. Quickly press the button 15 times to enter the control menu. The load will flash 3 times to confirm the operation. The first menu allows to set the minimum brightness level. The set brightness level will be visible on the load. Each quick press of the button will change the brightness. A long press of the button will save the desired setting and switch to the next menu, the fade on. The corresponding animation will be visible on the load. A single quick press of the button allows the change of fade on time. A long press of the button will save the desired setting and switch to the next menu, the fade off. The corresponding animation will be visible on the load. A single quick press of the button allows the change of fade of time to off. A long press of the button will save the desired setting and switch to the next menu, the dimming curve. The animation corresponding to the selected dimming curve will be visible on the load. A single quick press of the button allows changing the curve, logarithmic or linear. A long press of the button will save the desired setting and exit the menu. The load will flash 3 times to confirm the operation. DALI DT6 Mode. To set the DALI DT6 mode, set the dip switch as shown in the figure. Starting from the basic connection diagram, connect the DALI bus to the DALI push terminals DAP1 and DAP2. The communication bus must be powered. Once the system is switched on, the dimmer is ready to receive commands generated by the DALI master. Potentiometer mode. To use the potentiometer mode, set the dip switch as shown in the diagram. Starting from the basic wiring diagram, connect a 47 kΩ linear potentiometer to the input sync COM and input sync in terminals. To change the brightness, adjust the potentiometer. Zero 10 volts, 110 volts mode, active or passive. To use this mode, set the dip switch as shown. Starting from the basic wiring diagram, connect an active or passive 0-10 volts, 110 volts actuator between the input sync COM and input sync in terminals. To vary the brightness, adjust the voltage via the actuator. Two-pole phase cut mode. To use this mode, set the dip switch as shown. In this mode, the dimmer uses phase cut modulation to control the load. In this example, we will use our push 230 volts AE phase cut dimmer as control input for the DALI2-CV-M2 dimmer. The DALI2-CV-M2 is compatible with phase cut dimmers that support leading edge and trailing edge modes. The DALI push-pulse DAP1 and DAP2 are connected to the output of the phase cut dimmer in parallel with or instead of the load. Starting from the basic wiring diagram, connect the cut neutral to the DALI push input DAP1. Connect the cut phase to the DALI push input DAP2. Commands sent to the phase cut dimmer will be replicated on the load connected to the DALI2-CV-M2 dimmer. One-pole phase cut mode. In the event that the phase cut dimmer has only one output pole, connect this output to the DALI push pole DAP2 and the neutral of the system to the DA pole P1. Due to the variability of commercially available phase cut dimmers, we recommend that you always check the wiring diagrams provided by the dimmer manufacturer. Commands sent to the phase cut dimmer will be replicated on a load connected to the DALI2-CV-M2 dimmer. Dimming mode on power brake. To enable this mode, set the dip switch as in the figure. After connecting the output of the power supply and the LED strip to the dimmer, connect the neutral of the electrical system to the power supply. Connect the neutral to the DALI push terminal P1. Connect a switch between the phase and the remaining input pole of the power supply. Connect the phase interrupted by the switch to the DALI push DAP2 terminal. Press the switch to turn the load on or off. To change the brightness, quickly turn the switch off and on again within half a second. The brightness will gradually increase or decrease, depending on the state of the dimmer. When the desired brightness level is reached, turn the switch off to save the setting. If the switch is not turned off, the dimmer will continue to vary the brightness, reaching the minimum or maximum level, and after 8 seconds will store it. Fast switching on and off. Start dimming. Switch off for storing brightness. The brightness level has been stored. To adjust the minimum brightness level, if different from the default, you can insert a quarter watt resistor or potentiometer between the input sync COM and in terminals. See user manual. Timed switch off mode. Starting from one of the two wiring diagrams of the push mode, set the dip switch as in the figure to activate this mode. A quick click of the button will switch on the load and start a timer for automatic switch off. If the load is switched on and the button is pressed again, the timing will restart from zero. To change the switch on time, press the control button 15 times quickly. The dimmer will enter the configuration menu, which will allow the switch on time to be set. A quick press of the button will change the timing as shown in the figure. A long press of the button will save the desired setting and exit the menu. The load will remain lit to confirm the saving of the setting. Slave mode. Starting from the basic wiring diagram, set the dip switch on the slave dimmer as shown. The slave mode allows commands to be received from another DALI2-CV-M2 dimmer set in any mode except slave mode and all modes that use the input sync terminals as control input. Slave mode is only compatible between DALI2-CV-M2 dimmers. Connect all input sync COM inputs together. Connect all input sync in inputs together. Commands received by the master will be replicated on all slaves. Parameter setup for all modes. Via the first dip switch, the short circuit protection can be set. The second dip switch can be used to set the PWM output frequency.